For today, I'm going to help you on finding the missing coordinate using the slope formula. Okay, so for this skill, we're going to be using the following key point. We're going to remember that slope is change in y value or change in x value, or y2 minus y1, or x2 minus x1. Okay, so we're going to keep that in mind when we do these skills. So we recall when they give us a coordinate point, it is always often in the form of x, y, right? Oops. Okay. So we're going to recall that the first point in our order pair is the x, and our second point in our order pair is the y. And so we're going to keep that in mind when we do the example given to us, or the skill given to us on IXL. Okay, so it says a line has a slope of -5 and includes the points 3, 0, and 4t. What is the value of t? Okay, so I'm going to start by listing the points they gave me. They gave me the points 3, 0, and they also gave me the point 4t. Okay, so we know that 3 is my x, 0 is my y, 4 is my x, t is my y. And I'm going to use that information when solving for that missing point. Okay, so they already gave me the slope, which is -5. So I'm going to type in -5 as my slope because I'm referencing again to the slope formula. So -5 equals. Okay, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. So let's focus real quick. So the first rate of change is the change in y. So t is my y2. And I'm going to highlight it in green because that's my y. So that's my y2. So I'm going to write t minus the 0 is my y1, is my y value. So I'm going to highlight it in green to remind me that it's my y value, t minus 0. Then at the bottom, we're going to find the change in x value. So we're going to do x2, which in this case is 4, and I'm going to highlight it in yellow to symbolize that it's my x value, 4 minus, and then I have 3 as my x1, 3. Okay. Now I'm going to simplify. So I'm going to leave -5 alone, and then I'm going to simplify the bottom portion. I'm going to leave t minus 0 alone. I know that 4 minus 3 is 1. Okay. And to solve for the missing value, we're doing algebra. Okay. So here I have t minus 0 divided by 1. So the inverse of division is multiplication. It's going to multiply by 1 to both sides. And then once I do that, it leaves me with 1 times -5 is -5, t minus 0. Okay, so I'm still looking for t minus 0. Okay, so I have to do the inverse of addition, the inverse of subtraction, which is addition, and it's like adding 0 to both sides. And I'm left with -5 plus 0 is -5. -5 equals t. So that means that the missing coordinate is -5. And there we go. And so we're going to be using the same strategy for the next skill. And I'm going to model it for you again. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this work. Again, referencing to slope equals change in y value over change in x value, or y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And recalling that the first point is my x and my second point is my y. Okay. Sorry, that's my cat. Normie, come over here. Come here. Come here, Normie. It's okay. Okay. So it says a line that includes a point n, 0, and 4, 8 has a slope of 8. What is the value of n? Again, we're trying to find that missing value. And we're going to be using the key point slope equals y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So they told me that the 2 points are n, 0, and 4, 8, and that the slope is 8. Okay. So we know that the slope is 8, so I'm going to start 8 equals, and then I'm going to start my rate of change. Okay. So change a y value. So we know that the 8 is my y value. So I'm going to signify in yellow this time. And my 0 is my second y value. So be 8 minus 0. And then we're going to signify the x in green. So 4 is my x value, my second x value, and n is my first x value. So it'll be 4 minus n. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and simplify this. 8 equals, we know that 8 minus 0 is 8. And we still need to solve for n. 4 minus n. Okay. So here's where it's going to get a little bit complicated. Okay. So we start trying to solve for n. So we know that the inverse of division is multiplication, right? So we're going to have to multiply by 4 minus n to both sides. Okay. So that leaves me with 32 minus 8n equals 8. Don't freak. I'll tell you where I got this from. Basically what I did, I distributed the 8 to the 4 and the 8 to the n. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times n is 8n. Okay, now I'm still solving for n. So I have 32 minus 8n. I see that 32 here does not have a variable, so I'm going to start with that one first. So I'm going to do minus 32 to both sides. Okay. And 32 minus 32 is 0, so that left me with negative 8n equals 8 minus negative 32, or 8 minus 32 is negative 24. Okay, so I'm left with negative 8n equals negative 24. So I have to do the opposite of division, the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So I'm going to divide by 8. Divide by 8. Sorry. Oops. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Insert. Insert. Sorry. Okay, we're going to divide by 8. And what we do on one side, we have to do on the other. Okay, and it's a negative, sorry, negative 8. Negative 8. Okay, so negative 8 divided by negative 8 is positive 1, so we're left with n equals negative 24 divided by negative 8 is 3. So n is 3. You may wonder, okay, how do I know if I'm actually doing my work correctly? How can I check before I submit? Because I really don't want to start over. you can simply substitute the 3 for n. Okay, because we know that n, okay? And so we know that 8 minus 0 is 8, right? 4 minus 3 is 1. And we know that 8 divided by 1 is 8. Okay, so my solution is correct. So now let's triple check. Let's put in n. We said n equals 3. And there you go, submit. Okay, so don't let you let this whole process scare you. It's stuff that we already learned. So it's all about substitution and doing inverse operations when solving for this. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to call me or Mr. Shaw, Mr. F, or Mr. Brown, and we'll be happy to help you. Thanks again for all the patience, and have a good day.